Ontario released its 2023-2024 budget, and it is the largest budget in Ontario history with $204 billion in spending. So is this a good or a bad budget? It depends on your perspective. The budget does little to address a lot of the major issues in Ontario, including affordability, including housing, and including healthcare. While there is a large increase in the budget for healthcare, there is no direct plan to deal with the shortage of nurses and other workers. Similarly, there's no new programs for the middle or the working class in terms of affordability. The education budget was essentially unchanged, which is a good thing. It means that there was no cuts coming. Unfortunately, though, with the new rollout of the mandatory tech program in Ontario schools, there doesn't seem to be any additional funding to make sure that all schools have a variety of tech programs, let alone the teachers to run those programs. It seems as though the government is going to balance the budget faster than anticipated, but it doesn't seem as though that has to do with Ford. Instead, it's mostly due to inflation and higher taxation revenues, as well as an absolutely massive federal transfer for healthcare. And we're also seeing the return of international students to universities, which also helps to balance the budget. The government has also announced a new corporate income tax credit for up to $2 million. This is for investments in buildings, machinery, and equipment. And the government is also changing the definition of a small business from $10 million to $50 million of taxable capital. So lots in there for the rich, not really much for the rest of us. Also not a devastating budget. If I was to give it a grade, it's a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 for Doug Ford. That's literally because the bar for Doug Ford is, did he make things significantly worse? No, he just kept them at the same level of meh. But I understand both how people could look at this and say it's a horrible budget, as well as people looking at it and saying, well, what's wrong with it? It seems fine. But we shouldn't be settling for fine in our province.